I'm going to do a close-up of some sketching. Maybe you can get a better idea. This is my favorite little tree. I normally start with my 3 pen. This is my 3, the green one is my 8, and here's my water brush. So I'll start with a 3 pen just because it's smaller and it gives a lighter tip, and it's not as dark. So I indicate where the tree trunk is going. This is a little tree I love to paint. Give the gesture. The gesture is the feeling, the flow of the little tree, because he's not a perfect little Christmas tree. You know, I want him to have character. So here I'll bring it in and out, and I get that shape. Comes up here. I'm looking at the basic shapes, no details, nothing at this point, and get the feeling of that flow. That's pretty much where he is. Then I can come in with a darker one and start putting in dark areas. These are areas under the branches. And notice I'm always drawing so that the branches are heading out and in the natural form of their growth. But underneath is where the sun can't get, and it has those darker little branches. The strength of the trunk. And I try to keep it a little angular. It just makes it a little more interesting in my sketch here. A little light there, a little darkness there. And I'm doing this quickly. Often I would take more time if I were doing, you know, kind of a more preparatory sketch. But this is so you can get the idea. Now I'm switching back to some light marks again on the lighter side of these branches to indicate some places massing the areas together, and in other areas these are little broken branches coming off, and in other areas I indicate some individual. So you're going from mass to individuals to dark to light, where the trunk goes into the ground. Now I look at the design. I want a little more dark all over. Here's the shadow under there. It's being cast. The light is coming from this direction. I've been keeping that in mind all along. Now if I want, I have a nice pen and ink sketch here, but I can take my water brush and bleed. Watch how this bleeds as I come across. I just run some water there. It will pick up a little of the ink on the tip of the brush, and I'm laying it flatter along the side like a watercolor brush, so it will pick up some of those. As I come up in here, I'm trying to keep natural marks going with my pen. Notice the relaxed way I'm doing it. Sometimes I press further down on the brush to get more of the width of it, so it's darker, and other times I go up to the tip of the brush. See how small I can get, or I can get really wide. And that way I have control over variety within the sketch. Again, constantly thinking about the flow, the growth of this tree, keeping it loose, keeping it fun, keeping it expressive. Clean it off down here, throw in some light there. So just real quickly, there's that little tree, and as it dries, if I want, I can come back in with some more detail while it's wet, or I can come in a little later when it's drier and mark it in there. So that's kind of fun. Just so you can see a close-up of how I use my drawing instruments.